Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm so thrilled you're here because we're looking at something literally fascinating today. For most of us, the word surprise is instantly linked to stress. We think of a sudden shock, a loud noise, or, well, an unexpected problem. But what if I told you that surprise doesn't always have to mean stress? What if, under the exact right conditions, a surprise could actually be one of the absolute best ways to calm your mind? Today, we're diving into the unique world of ASMR reveal sounds, and we're gonna uncover exactly why a gentle surprise can actually feel deeply relaxing. I know it sounds kind of like a paradox, right? Can surprise actually feel calming? How on earth can an unexpected reveal relax the brain instead of setting off alarm bells? Normally, when we don't know what's about to happen, our bodies tense right up. We literally prep for fight or flight. But there's a specific psychological concept at play here called safe uncertainty. When you're watching, say, a container opening, a toy appearing, or a soft wrapper peeling back, you might not know the exact reveal, but you know a reveal is coming. Our brains absolutely love to guess what's inside. What color will it be? What sound will it make? It creates this genuine curiosity, but because the environment is totally safe, that curiosity holds your attention without ever triggering your anxiety. Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, surprise versus startle. We're looking at the fundamental difference between safe and sudden. When we compare these two concepts, it brilliantly illustrates exactly what's going on in your nervous system. On the one hand, we've got startle. Think of a classic jump scare in a horror movie. Startle is sudden uncertainty. It violently breaks your brain's prediction of what's about to happen. Your body is basically forced into a physical reaction, right? Your heart races, you flinch. Now contrast that with the ASMR reveal. This is safe uncertainty. Instead of breaking prediction like a jump scare, an ASMR reveal builds it up slowly. It lets the body prepare. The surprise isn't the fact that something happens, the surprise is just the exact detail of what appears. So your brain gets to experience all the thrill of curiosity without ever feeling threatened. It's the whole shebang of discovery minus the panic. Now, this isn't just a fun theory. Let's move to section 2, the science of calm. We'll look at the actual research and mechanisms behind this. What's really interesting here is the concrete scientific groundwork behind this whole phenomenon. Back in 2015, researchers Barratt and Davis found that viewers consistently use ASMR for relaxation, sleep, and mood support. Then, building on that, in 2018, Poerio and her team discovered that ASMR responders actually showed a physically reduced heart rate and improved mood while watching. And, perhaps absolutely crucial to our topic today, is Friston's 2010 research, which highlights that prediction and surprise are central to how our brains interpret sensory input. Now, I want to be super clear here. These studies do not mean ASMR reveals are a medical therapy, right? But they do scientifically prove that gentle, pleasant auditory experiences genuinely engage our emotional reward networks and can literally lower our heart rate. So the absolutely crucial point here is that prediction is the key. The human brain it is completely obsessed with knowing what kind of world it's in. It's constantly calculating. But in an ASMR reveal, the world is incredibly simple. The sound is soft, the movement is slow, and the surprise is perfectly contained inside an object. The brain recognizes, hey, nothing dangerous is happening here. Because it feels safe, it allows itself to be curious without becoming alarmed. You know how attention often feels so scattered in our daily lives? Well, a slow, predictable reveal gives your attention a specific, safe destination. You don't need to figure out your whole day. You just need to follow the hand in the object. So, how do creators actually build this environment? Let's get into Section 3, Anatomy of a Reveal, and how they go about building these safe moments. Good reveal ASMR uses sound in very, very deliberate layers. I want you to imagine a little toy capsule. First, you might hear a soft tap on the outside, then maybe a tiny scrape. Next, a plastic crinkle as the seal is touched. Then, and this is vital, a pause. And finally, the satisfying reveal sound. Notice how each one of these layers acts as a signal. Every single step tells the brain, hey, the moment is coming. The reveal isn't random, it's highly prepared. This slow preparation is exactly what makes the surprise so relaxing. You're getting ahead of novelty, sure, but it's framed perfectly inside a safe boundary. This is exactly why low-stakes items like toy capsules, pretend eggs, or little plastic wrappers work so incredibly well. They carry absolutely zero adult pressure. They're just playful, simple, and completely harmless. And then we finally reach the payoff. Completion closes the loop. Throughout those 5 steps we just talked about, your brain was basically asking one small question: what's inside? When the video answers that question with the reveal, the lid releasing, the wrapper separating, the toy dropping softly, the moment feels completely resolved. The brain gets its answer, and because the loop is closed, the body can physically let go and just relax. The best reveal sounds aren't necessarily the biggest or the loudest sounds. They are simply the sounds that satisfy the expectation. But, as you might guess, there's a delicate balance here. Let's move on to section 4. When reveals go wrong, and how they cross back over into stress. Because reveal ASMR can absolutely go wrong. If the sound is too loud, well, that gentle surprise instantly turns back into a startle. If the video editing is too fast, your brain loses its ability to predict what's coming, which totally breaks that safe environment. If the object itself is unclear, your attention gets confused rather than focused. And if the reveal is exaggerated or way too dramatic, you might end up feeling manipulated instead of relaxed. Creating the calm version of this requires immense restraint from the creator. We're talking slow hands, soft volume, clear framing, and really visible cause and effect. Without all of those, you completely lose the relaxation. So knowing all this, how can you ensure you're getting the most out of these tools? Let's look at section 5, finding your balance and identifying your personal ASMR triggers. ASMR is a highly personal experience. There really is no single right trigger for everyone. One of the most practical ways to test if reveal ASMR is actually working for you is to check in with your body before the reveal even happens, right during that waiting period. Notice the physical difference here. If you're waiting for the container to open and that waiting feels soft, curious, and easy, then the trigger is absolutely working for you. But if you find that the waiting period feels tight, impatient, or tense, then that surprise is actually pulling you toward alertness instead of calm. It's a pretty good sign you might need a different, maybe purely repetitive trigger with no surprise at all. To keep things genuinely relaxing, keep these safe usage guidelines in mind. Always keep your volume relatively low. Definitely avoid any content with rapid, jump scare style edits. If you're using reveal ASMR at bedtime, be a little careful. If the mystery of what's next is actually keeping you awake, you should probably set a sleep timer or switch to a more repetitive loop. And finally, always remember to use ASMR as a complementary wellness and relaxation support tool, not as a replacement for professional medical treatment. When used correctly, it gives your attention a small, harmless task. Follow the object, wait for the reveal, notice the sound, and just let the moment end. I want to leave you with this incredibly evocative thought. In ASMR, surprise can whisper. It really perfectly summarizes everything we've talked about today. The big takeaway here is that surprise doesn't have to be intense, loud, or shocking to give your brain satisfying novelty. It can arrive inside a tiny click. It can appear just as a shift in color. It can be a soft reveal. It gives the brain novelty without danger, attention without pressure, and curiosity without the stress. It really is amazing how our brains process these tiny sensory moments, isn't it? As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to think about your own sensory preferences. Knowing what you know now about how the brain handles safe uncertainty versus pure repetition, do you prefer the gentle curiosity of reveal ASMR, or do you lean towards fully predictable, no-surprise triggers? Think about how your body responds the next time you're looking to relax. Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating science of calm with me today, and keep paying attention to those quiet, curious moments.